Hello everyone, Prof. Kruse here with a video for my ITS 2801 scripting class at Ohio University. In this video, we'll take a first look at the virtual machines that we'll be using for our scripting class, take a look at how to bring up VS Code, to connect to GitHub, to clone the class information repo, and run our first Python script. So with that, let's get started. All right, I've already brought up my virtual machine, and this is pretty much the way it will come out of the box. So when you first sign in, this is roughly what you should see. The first thing I'm going to do here is there's an icon here for GNS3, which is a network the network simulator. We won't need that. We're not going to delete it, but I will remove it from favorite just so it doesn't get in my way here. Then we will jump into our terminal application. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Maybe one more time. There we go. All right. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that Python and Git have been installed. So let's do that. It's there. So remember, it is also always Python 3. There we go. All right. So we have Python and we have Git. Right, next step, we will want to I'm going to minimize this, and the next thing we'll want to do is go to whatever directory we want to house our repo. So if we want to look around, we can look at our file manager here. I have no idea if I can acknowledge this. So one good option would be to go into Documents, which starts out as empty apparently. So let's go ahead and go back to our terminal, and we're going to navigate there. In the Unix command line, if you haven't used this before, CD for change directory will get you to wherever you're trying to go. And if you're trying to go just down, so we're in the home directory now. In fact, let me just back up here a second. The ls for list command will tell you what folders are below the folder you're in right now. And so we're in a home directory, and there's the documents directory. So I can just say cd documents. Right. Now, the prompt will show you that you're in the documents directory, which is helpful. And if you get lost, CD with the tilde will always get you back to the top level, your home directory. And of course, the up arrow will recall the command, so I have to type it again. So we're now in a documents directory. But what we want to do, of course, is pull our repo from GitHub. So I'll minimize this. I've already navigated to GitHub in Chrome in this case. Make that a bit bigger as well. All right, so this is let's take a quick look at this. So this is github.com/OUProfCruse. And what we're going to want to do is go to ITS 2801. We're going to click on the code icon here. If the thing is set to GitHub CLI's, I'm sorry, we're in code. If it's set to GitHub CLI, click on HTTPS. If you're logged in to GitHub, you'll have a couple more options. So make sure you're on the HTTPS option. If you're logged in, you'll also get an option to open to pull the repo into your workspace in it's called the code space in GitHub. So if you see code space and local next to it, click on local first, and that'll reveal the HTTPS. So we want HTTPS, and then we'll click on this icon right next to the URL. And that will copy it to our clipboard. Minimize this guy. And go back to our command line. Now you can do this in VS Code as well. Sometimes I find that a bit more confusing because you've got the code editor and everything else. So I prefer to do stuff like this in the pure command line, but you can do whichever way you're comfortable with once you start working with VS Code. So here, what we want to do is clone, because this is the first time we're accessing the repo. After that, we use pull, but the first time we use clone. Now I can't do Control C here because that's a command for the terminal, so I have to do Control Shift C. Oh, come on. Or I can right-click and paste, which is even easier. C is copy. Control Shift V would paste, but you can also right-click in this terminal. Because we have logged in, because we're zoomed in, it wraps around. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, what it's done is it says it's cloning into ITS 2801. We'll take a look in just a second, and pulls the content. Remember the command for listing what's underneath our directory? ls. There is ITS 2801. So now we can go and find ourselves VS Code. So the first time around, at least, down at the bottom, you'll see that set of dots. That's our applications menu. So we'll click on that, and back there on the bottom right is VS Code and the GNS3 that we just took out of our favorites. So we're going to click on VS Code, which will start it. Now, mine of course started in a directory, so we'll fix that in just a second. Before I do anything else, I'm going to go here and add it to favorites, so I don't have to go track it down every time. Also, it started in full screen, just like on Windows. You have a full screen button there, which I find that again a little bit more useful. And I switched mine because of the display in the classroom to the light mode. You can of course switch to dark. All right. So what we want to do is we want to open a folder. Now you can do it a couple of different ways. I can go to File, Open Folder, right there, or I can bring up the command palette. Which you can either get through View, Command Palette, right? Or you can use Control Shift P, if you do View Command Palette, it will show that right there. Okay. Now. Let's go this way. We're going to tell we want to open a folder, which will give us our open dialog. We're going to go back out to home directory. We went to documents. There's ITS 2801. So I'm going to select ITS 2801. Tell it I want to open that. And so always get the first time you go somewhere. You'll get this warning so that you're not accidentally running code that you just kind of downloaded from somewhere where you're not sure. So somebody say yes, I trust the authors, and you will get the first time you open this, you'll get the do you want to install the dev containers extension. That's because GitHub adds a configuration file for opening this code in the GitHub browser extension. So we say no, we're not going to. So we're just going to X out from that. Don't need that. So that gives you the container, the content of the folder. There's this dev container thing that that always that GitHub just adds. There's not much I can do about it. There are old files you're welcome to look at, but they're not really useful. In our case, we want to expand this week 1 folder and open the hello script. And so that's what I provided to you this time. And it's in here, and this and all scripts that I give you will be ready to run, although they won't do everything they're supposed to normally. This one will. So we should be able to just kind of click run here, and we got our output down at the bottom. Now, once you're working in a file and you're not jumping back and forth between files, I usually click on the Explorer icon up here just to give myself a little bit less distractions. So down here you see it. It ran the hello.py script, and there's the output from it. That's really all we needed. And so if you get to this point, you're good to go. Now, in future, and I'll do that on this command line here. So because if you reopen, first of all, you can just leave Visual Code open, which I recommend. So when you're done, you just basically disconnect your session. But obviously every week I'll add more content to the repo. So since you're in the right directory here, in the future, all you would do down here in the terminal section is type git pull, which will get any new content. Now, right now it's going to tell us it's already up to date. Yes, there are ways to do that through the command palette as well, but there's really no. It works either way. So you just have to get comfortable with what works better for you. We'll talk about that at some later point. All right. So if you've gotten to this point, you're all set for for the next project. And if you have any difficulties getting to this stage, let me know. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.